I will just remember 2 points of the gospel that we have heard outside. If you see the gospel, Jesus asked for 2 donkeys and used them. That means in the gospel that Jesus, if you remember the gospel of Matthew, you will see that at some point of his life, his public life, Jesus asked the disciples about his identity. And Peter answered him that he was the Messiah. But Jesus didn't say anything about that. Jesus don't say yes or no. Jesus just tried to change the idea that the disciples had about what that means to be a Messiah. But in this case, in this gospel, Jesus take a more active approach, and he tried to introduce himself as the Messiah. For this, he prepared a sign that for the Hebrews was very, very clear at that time. And this is important for us because Jesus prepared by himself this sign. That means Jesus want to be the Messiah for us. And also, if you remember the Last Supper, Jesus also said to his disciples that he was longing for a long time to have that dinner with them. So he prepared that dinner, he prepared that sign. And in this case, it's the same. He prepared a sign in order to let us know that he was, them know that he was the Messiah, that the Hebrews were waiting. For us, it's also important to realize that Jesus wants to be our Messiah. Jesus wants to be our Savior. That means the word Hosanna in the Gospel. Second point of the Gospel, the reaction of the people in the city of Jerusalem. Of course, everybody understands the sign at that time, and for this the people bring not just the donkeys, but also the cloth and the palms. Palms, that means happiness, a joy. And the second point is that when they were inside Jerusalem, according to the gospel, all the city was shaken because of him. And if you remember in the Gospel of Matthew, when Jesus was born, all the city also was shaken. They were afraid. They were afraid of some new king that come out from Bethlehem. And so the same happened here. The city was shaken because they were afraid of losing their position. So for the Romans, a new king was nothing that they were waiting for. They refused that idea. And also the religious people, the leaders of the people, they were afraid of losing their position in society. So they refused Jesus. Even the people accept Jesus not just as a prophet, but also as a Messiah. So for us, it's also important in this Sunday to remember that in the gospel, Jesus showed us that he won't save us. He wants to be our Messiah. He wants to be our King, the King of all our life. And we must answer him, and we have 2 options. Accept him as the crowds in the gospel or refused him, putting him some questions as the Romans at that time or the religious leaders at that time.